Mr Treasurer, Andrew Clennell from Sky News. You and the Prime Minister say the election is about a choice. In November, the Prime Minister said that you could pay more for petrol and have higher interest rates under Labor. The budget papers yesterday said monetary policy is expected to begin to normalise from historically low levels in a tightening cycle from 2022 to 2024, meaning there's going to be interest rate rises, several, no matter who's in power. The price of petrol was historically high even before the war in Ukraine. You and the Prime Minister also say under Labor the spending never stops. Yet you're the highest spending Treasurer in Australia's history, having spent $314 billion in stimulus, topped up by this $8 billion cost of living package. So you say there's a choice. What is the choice? Is it high spending, high petrol prices, rising interest rates versus the same?
Well, the choice is very clear. Our government has delivered lower taxes, as we promised to the Australian people at the last election. Labor and Anthony Albanese said at that time that they had a strong mandate for superannuation taxes, retiree taxes, housing taxes, higher income taxes and family business taxes. We did what we said we would do. Now, after their election loss, suddenly they no longer believe in what they said was a core principle for them. We've delivered one of the fastest and strongest economic recoveries in the world, and no one can take that away from 26 million Australians. Our economic plan has worked. We've guaranteed the essential services by fully funding Medicare, fully funding the NDIS, seeing aged care funding increase dramatically, $17.7 billion in last year's budget after the Royal Commission. Andrew, we have taken the steps that we promised to the Australian people we would at the last election. The Leader of the Opposition is pretending to be someone he is not. He has always stood for higher taxes. He has always stood for higher spending. In fact, they've made $80 billion of extra commitments on everything as silly as $6 billion to have a jab, even though you've had a jab. They wanted to pay you an extra $300. They wanted JobKeeper to be extended when we knew it was the time to end it. So I think there's a very clear choice for the Australian people in the next election. Our government has delivered on what we said we would do. We've laid out our plan for the future. Labor is trying to sneak into government, not telling us what they really want to do. And this is where I'll finish on this one. Jim Chalmers, my political opponent, said a few days ago that Labor wanted to be flexible around tax. What does flexible mean? He said Labor will deliver a budget before the end of the year if they are successful. What does that mean? The budget document is our plan that we will take to the Australian election. The Australian people deserve to know what is Labor's plan that will be in their so-called budget before the end of the year. Thursday night is Anthony Albanese's opportunity. He can't just carp on and character assassinate. He needs to show the Australian people what his plan is. And I doubt he will. So I think that's the test. Show us the plan. We showed you ours, and we did that last night.